But before we get into it, a word from this video's sponsor, Loot Crate. If you love fandoms and you love having all the swag and merch to rep your fandoms, Loot Crate is where it's at. With Loot Crate, you can get a monthly subscription box and have cool fandom merch delivered right to your door. They have all your favorite fandoms covered like Marvel, Disney, Rick and Morty, Pixar. This time around, I received a Deadpool box. Few of my favorites are this awesome beverage travel cozy, so you can put like all your drinks in here, you know? And then I also really loved this amazing artwork book. This is pretty cool. There's like so much art in here. And of course, this badass apron, which I can wear when I'm, you know, barbecuing or cooking. With Loot Crate, you get brand new and unique items every month, and you can even change between fandoms on a monthly basis. To get your Loot Crate today, go to the link in the description and be sure to use our code TOP10 for 15% off. Thank you so much to Loot Crate for sponsoring this video. Alright, now let's get counting. Deadpool is one of the most popular characters that Marvel has, and it is due to this popularity that he has found himself with enough alternates to rival his frenemy Wolverine. In fact, Deadpool has so many alternates that he even was forced to take some of them down, killing some of them off in Deadpool Kills Deadpool. After all, one Wade Wilson is crazy enough in the world of Marvel, right? Welcome back, Nerd Squad. Today we're going to be taking a look at some of the more evil, more depressing, or just more insane alternates from the Marvel multiverse, as we count down the top 10 dark alternate versions of Deadpool. And be sure to stick around to the end of this list, where we will have some bonus content coming your way in the form of comment responses. Alright, let's get counting. Number 10. Deadpool Dinosaur. Deadpool Dinosaur is a version of Deadpool that is a T-Rex. The main thing that indicates his Deadpool-ness is that he's wearing a Deadpool mask and is part of the evil Deadpool Corps. The evil Deadpool Corps are a group of villainous Deadpools originally led by an alternate Deadpool, Dreadpool. They aim to eliminate all Deadpools across the multiverse. Deadpool works to stop them and annihilate this villainous group in the story Deadpool Kills Deadpool with the help of his own good team of Deadpools, known simply as the Deadpool Corps. Deadpool Dinosaur is accompanied by his own Moon Boy, who looks a lot like Logan in the face, if I'm being honest. Is this just me noticing this? This version of Moon Boy also fights from Deadpool Dinosaur's saddle with a big gun. The two are basically an alternate version of Moon Boy and Devil Dinosaur, with of course some Deadpool mixed in there. Number 9. Deadpool. This version of Deadpool is basically a combination of former evil AIM leader Modok and Deadpool himself. One can assume he has the brilliant mind of Modok, but also has the brilliant fighting skills of Deadpool, even with his tiny, disproportionate arms. Not only does Deadpool seem to fight with swords, but he also has two turret firearms on his head. While Modok stands for mental organism designed only for killing, Deadpool supposedly stands for destructive engine of assassination, despite panpygoptosis, obsessed with opponent liquidation. Number 8. Venompool. In a story that has continued through various what-if issues, we get to meet Venompool. Venompool is an alternate version of Deadpool from the alternate Earth of 90211. Here Deadpool ends up becoming bonded with the Venom symbiote during his time with the Beyonder, following a run-in with Peter Parker, who was bonded with the symbiote at the time. The symbiote leaves a defeated Peter Parker for Deadpool and bonds with him. Later on in his life, this is a path that leads Deadpool to end up killing all the heroes of his universe, whom he does not find attractive. He does let the attractive ones live. I guess that's something, I guess. Following a therapy session with Doc Samson, who this version of Deadpool also promptly kills thereafter, he realizes he needed to be true to who he was. This allowed Venompool to accept that who he was a massive jerk, and prompted him to use a weapon called the Retcon Expungifier to wipe out the entire universe. Basically, he's in the running for being the biggest jerk of all the Deadpool alternates. Number 7. Cespool. We don't know that much about Cespool. Like many of the darkest alternates of Deadpool, Cespool was part of the evil Deadpool Corps. What we do know of him is that he has a terrifying appearance and mutation. He is completely covered in mouths with razor-sharp teeth and uses these to try and devour his opponents. Yipes. This is like something straight out of a horror movie. Number 6. Galactic Pool. This alternate version of Deadpool was too dark for even main continuity Deadpool himself. Galactic Pool shows up just as we thought the fight was coming to a close between the Deadpool Corps and the evil Deadpool Corps. Galactic Pool is a combination of Galactus and Deadpool, and Wade wondered where in the heck the evil Deadpool Corps even found an alternate like this Galactus Pool. Fortunately, despite him likely having, I guess, some kind of intense cosmic power, alternate Deadpool, Lady Deadpool, manages to defeat Galactic Pool using the Deadpool Corps ship B. Arthur. Sadly, this was the end of B. Rest in peace, B. Number 5. Wolverine Pool. What happens when you take Deadpool and Wolverine and mix them together? You get Wolverine Pool. Wolverine Pool comes from the alternate Earth of 1946. Wolverine Pool is the ultimate Weapon X program weapon. He is a version of Wade Wilson who had adamantium bonded to his skeleton. He belonged to the evil Deadpool Corps and was killed during a fight with the non-evil Deadpool Corps. It is assumed that he of course has a healing factor, but not one strong enough to regenerate himself when reduced to just a skeleton, and likely a healing factor that was weaker than both the main continuity Wolverine and the main continuity Deadpool. Number 4. Redtool. Redtool is actually not from an alternate Marvel universe, but is actually from DC Comics. Oddly enough, while Marvel's Deadpool was created by Rob Liefeld and Fabian Nicieza to be a parody of DC's Deathstroke, DC then decided to themselves parody Marvel's own parody of their character, creating Redtool, who is a parody of Deadpool. He's a parody of a parody. Still, just because we are stuck in a weird perpetuation of parody doesn't mean that Redtool has to be a super light and fun character. Although he kind of is that too. Redtool is dark in the fact that he only fights with tools, including power tools, making his physical conflicts also appear a lot more gruesome than his Marvel counterpart. And he doesn't have a healing factor, instead he just can't feel pain, due to having a part of his brain removed, which also makes him somehow even more disturbing of a character than Marvel's Deadpool. Pretty impressive actually. Good job, DC. Number 3. Headpool. Headpool is the version of Deadpool from the Marvel Zombieverse of Earth 2149. He is aptly named Headpool because in the end, that is all that's left of him. A head. But a head who is still very much alive, that is, and would still very much like to eat you. This version of Deadpool was also not confined to just existing in the alternate Earth of Earth 2149. He ended up making his way to Earth 616 while he still had most of his full body actually. He ended up making his way to Earth 616 while he still had mostly his full body actually. He was thought to have been completely decimated during a fight there, but it turns out he survived, but simply had lost the rest of his body and was now just a head. Number 2. Dreadpool. One of the darkest alternates around, Dreadpool is the version of Deadpool who appeared in Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe. He is from the alternate Earth of 12101, where he was driven even more insane than he already is. A therapist known as Dr. Benjamin Brighton attempted to brainwash Deadpool so he might use him for his own means. However, this failed, and instead ridded Deadpool of his standard inner voices, replacing them with a single voice. This voice in his head seemed fully aware that nothing in the Marvel Universe was actually real, and encouraged Deadpool to free everyone from this fictional prison or fictional reality by killing them all off, which Deadpool then proceeded to do. Basically, Dreadpool is from Deadpool's darkest timeline. Number 1. Evil Deadpool. Evil Deadpool is an alternate Deadpool from the main reality of Earth 616. He is sort of a Franken version of Deadpool who was created by the deranged and psychotic Dr. Ella Whitby. Ella Whitby accidentally helped to create him from storing bits and pieces of Deadpool's body, which had been lost throughout his life while he fought. She collected these because she was obsessed with Deadpool. She was also madly in love with Wade. Though they were stored in her fridge, they were likely part of her shrine of collectibles of Deadpool. In the end, Deadpool found these parts in her fridge and tossed them out. As they thawed in the garbage bag he disposed of them in, they came to life and rejoined together to create Evil Deadpool. A version of Deadpool that is evil and just an all-around complete jerk for the sake of being one, whose fighting skills rival the real Deadpool and who also has a backwards arm, which actually proves to be surprisingly useful in fights for him. Thank you so much for watching, Nerd Squad. Who are some of your favorite Deadpool alternates? Which alternates do you think are the darkest? Who do you love more, Deadpool or Wolverine? Let us know in the comments below. And speaking of comments, it's time to turn to some comments from one of our latest videos, Top 10 Darkest Alternate Versions of the Joker, Part 2. Sunstar comments, if they ever release the extended version of Ayer's Suicide Squad, I'd like to see all the scenes with Jared Leto that were cut. All that method acting, let's see the final product. I would also be interested in checking that out. Jared Leto might be a lot of things, but I do think he is an accomplished actor, and it could be very interesting. And with the Snyder Cut of Justice League coming our way, if it does well, who knows, maybe we could see an extended cut of Suicide Squad, or maybe a recut from Ayer, who has spoken about some of his regrets when it comes to his work on that film. Trex Advent asks, what would happen if we saw these dark alternate versions of the Joker on the big screen or in TV shows? Batman Who Laughs is actually so popular, we could likely see that alternate of both Batman and the Joker, but I also feel like that would be so crazy, like a live action Batman Who Laughs. I'm not sure if the world is ready for that. Are you nerds ready for that? And that's all the time we have for comments today. Thank you so much for watching, Nerd Squad, and thank you again to Loot Crate for sponsoring this video. Be sure to comment below for a chance to have your thoughts shouted out and your questions answered in a future video. This has been Top 10 Nerd, and I'm your host Amanda McKnight, reminding you as always to stay nerdy, YouTube.